Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Plan in Traffic. We do this every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So please tell your friends to like, share, and subscribe. And we also are on PowerTube TV. So you can download their app, and you can watch our show every Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Um, they're the best of Plan in Traffic. We have 10 years worth of content heading that way. So please go check it out and tell them I sent you. What's up, Ray?
Lewis, good to be here again another week.
Yeah, they go quick, man. It's like we just did this 2 days ago. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so you want to talk about we're talking about transporting tonight, huh? That's an interesting topic.
Yeah, so I was over at Wrench Nation, and that's one of the topics he was talking about last couple of weeks.
Okay.
So we're going to start coordinating with him and your show, and try to start doing same topics every week. Not the same topics, but in that circle. So
Right.
so his crowd can come over here, hear some stuff from us. Different outlook. When you have your shows, we'll steal some of your content to share.
Sure.
Go back and forth like that. I think it'll give more content to all of our channels.
Oh yeah. No, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, so that's coming soon. But if you get a chance, people in the chat, go check out Wrench Nation. He has great content. He's real strong on technical stuff, and you'll like his stuff. And check out Ray on Sunday at 12 o'clock for Motor Mouth Radio, where he can tell you how to fix stuff.
Yeah, we try. We try to do the run the gamut. We just did our best of our Mother's Day show, which is kind of a best of. We kind of look back through the year at some of the funny and interesting phone calls we had that kind of that kind of tickled our fancy. We replay those kind of as a best of, and that's we had Brian on. Brian made the number 2 spot last week with his test light story. And some stuff is just too good to let just go into the ether. You want to kind of reuse it and give it some more airplay because it's just people are funny. Let's face it.
Yeah.
People, things. I mean, life is funny. Life on the tool truck, life in a shop. I mean, wherever you are, whatever you're doing,
Yeah, everybody has a story.
Yeah, and usually, some of them are just full of BS, and that's funny too because especially when you catch them.
Yeah.
So we just like to share that stuff.
I during the day, it's amazing how much stupid stuff you see people do.
Oh yeah,
it's just amazing that their parents let them out of the house.
right,
or me too, because I do stupid stuff too. But
right.
At least I know I'm stupid. Some of these people don't know they're stupid.
A lot of them don't. And that's the sad part. Yeah, they just don't get it.
Right. So tonight, we were talking about transporting. So I transported cars for 12 years, I think I did.
Wow.
Somewhere in there, 12 years. So I kind of got the ins and out on it, but I've come to find out that things have really changed in the business. So when I hauled cars, I had my own authority, I had my own trucks, and we hauled for dealerships, for auto body shops, stuff like that. And then my other part of that company, we ran exotic cars for TV shows, for entertainers, sports guys. So we did that too. And it was direct connect. They would call me. I'd go pick up the cars, or send a truck to pick up cars, drop them off. So we were the dispatch, we were the transporter, and the deliverer, I guess you want to say. Okay. So now I've been out of the business for 15 years. And so we needed to have a truck transported from Wisconsin to here. So I go on the load boards, and I found a company. I put the information on the load board. So I get hits from different transport companies.
What is the load board exactly? What is that for those of us who don't know?
So that would be an internet website that you can go on and you post your car that you have a BMW that you need transported from A to B.
Okay.
So what happens is transport companies, they go to these sites and they bid on the cars, or they offer the if they're in that area, they say, hey, I can pick up the car tomorrow. I'm in the area, and then you kind of go through and talk to them and see if you like them. So that's the way it used to be when I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But now we just a couple of months ago, we put a vehicle on that we needed transported here to Youngstown. And so I got hits from several people. And so I got a guy, and he gave me a good price, decent price. It wasn't too cheap, but it wasn't too expensive. Give me a good price. And he said he got a car picked up like 2 days later. He has a guy that's going to be coming through there. I was like, all right, cool. So I send a deposit. And the day of the pickup, he texts me and says, hey, I can't find a driver to pick up the car. I'm going to keep looking for you to get a truck out there. So I was like, so I'm thinking, what do you mean? I thought you were the transport guy.
Yeah.
So it comes to find out he's a broker. He just throws out stuff. So what he did is he gave me a price, and it was too cheap. So there was several trucks in that area, but they wanted $1,000. He gave me a price, I think it was $600.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah, so now he's trying to find somebody to haul it for $600, and he goes, "Oh, we got to go up on the price." I was like, "No, send me my money back." So I started doing some research on him, and I would find where his office is and all this stuff. Empty, no office there. He's not even there.
Oh wow!
So now I'm thinking, oh man, I gotta get my black clothes on and go look for this guy, right?
Yeah.
So I kept digging. I called a couple of friends that's in the business, and they found out who he was and where to get a hold of him. So I reached out to him again. I was like, okay, I know where you're at. I need my money back. And I didn't threaten him. I just told him I needed the money back.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of days later, money came back. But man, it's so easy for them to run a scam. Well, actually, it wasn't even a scam. It was just he misled me to think that he was, the transport company.
So how could a person go about avoiding that or making sure they got in touch with the right people?
Well, when I was hauling cars, people would ask me for my insurance information and my license, my bonds, and all that stuff, DOT information. So I would send all that stuff, because I was hauling, Bentleys and Ferraris, and so they really were, they wanted to know who I was. So I sent all my information, and that kind of let them know that I was legit or I was the actual guy. So that would be a way to protect yourself, is get all their information. And when somebody wants you to haul their car, they can request to have their car put on your insurance, and then and your insurance company will give you a bond to send to them to show that their car is insured on your truck.
Okay.
So that's another way to kind of protect yourself too.
That's good. I'm thinking about like with the U-Ship, when the guys that use U-Ship and pick up jobs like that all over the place. The guy that I do work for at the shop, he's actually used that service with a lot of good luck.
I've used them too.
Yeah, and I was thinking of that. That's kind of, but yeah, you got it reminds me of years ago. A friend of mine had he had an insurance claim. He had a tree limb fall through his pool, and he called up a guy to come and repair the pool or replace it or whatever. And the guy, I think it was a tree guy. He had to remove the limb, and he said, yeah, he was licensed in the whole bit, and he did more damage to the pool than the tree limb did.
Wow.
So my friend's like, all right, listen, we're gonna go through your insurance, and the guy, we said he had insurance. He had truck insurance. He didn't have business insurance.
Wow.
So, I mean, that came out after a long and protracted length of argument where, this guy was just doing kind of freelance work and claiming to be fully bonded and insured, and he wasn't. And it was a real pain in the ass for my buddy to deal with. But you got to see the documents, and unfortunately, you have to say, can you produce the documents? Let me. Actually, I think Kevin did ask him that, and the guy says, "Well, I don't carry this stuff with me. In the truck, it's a work truck. I don't carry all that stuff with me," which seems fairly reasonable at the time. It's like, okay, I guess I could see that, but and everything else seemed okay, so he went ahead with it. So, yeah, people get burned.
Actually, now I'm thinking about it, when somebody would request for me to put their car on my insurance, I would have to send the information to my insurance company, and they would send it to the actual person.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That person would actually get information from my insurance company.
Right.
I'll tell you one thing, insurance company is real finicky. When I first started hauling exotic cars, my first trip, I went to New York to pick up some cars in your neighborhood, actually, in Long Island.
Okay.
And so I called the insurance company. I was like, hey, I need to bump my insurance up because I'm picking up, 3, real expensive cars.
Yeah.
So I told her what cars they were, and they was like, wow. She goes, we might drop you. I was like, what do you mean you might drop me? She goes, I don't know if we cover that kind of stuff. And she made a couple calls, and she came back and said, okay, we got you. But they're almost going to drop me.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you like that? Just trying to do business.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. So, I mean, you really have to see what happens is when you're looking for a service, you kind of have anxiety a little bit because you're searching around for the right price, searching around for somebody that's good, licensed or insured, whatever. So your mind is going a couple different ways, and you find somebody and he goes, oh, well, I don't have it in my truck, and you just say, okay, and you just get it done, you know what I mean? Because you're tired of working on it.
Right. So, and it seems reasonable, like the guy wouldn't carry all the documents with him all the time.
Exactly. So my suggestion is to maybe even get information for a couple different companies and then wait the next day. Think about it. You know what I mean? Do a little research.
I'll tell you the truth. That's, coming up for me. If we're thinking about relocating and moving out of state, and I'm going to have to transport my cars. Mm-hmm. So I'll be in that boat, I mean, I'll probably have, I could give a guy a truckload. So at least they're all together. That might be a little easier than splitting them up. I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of anxiety, Yeah.
And I can see how, you can make a mistake and not, and trust somebody. And that's when they get you, man. It's always when,
right.
You're like, oh, okay, I think I got it. And that's the guy to get you.
Yeah. Right. I know. Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So, but I've had a lot of good experiences. I've been out where like I might have been out of town and somebody will call and say, hey, I got a car I need moved and my trucks are gone. I can't get it. And I would call other companies and have them take them for me.
Right.
And they've done that with me too. So there are some good small companies that are trustworthy.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem is figuring out who they are, vetting them, and asking the right questions, and then getting you can ask the right questions, but it depends if you're getting the right answers or not.
Right.
And knowing when you're getting BS instead of, so you got to be kind of, it's like anything else, you have to be almost as smart as the doctor to be able to ask the right questions to the doctor. Otherwise he can tell you whatever he wants, and and you're just sitting there believing him. So
right. And this last experience with this guy, I found that there's a lot of people doing that. They don't have no trucks, no nothing. They go on the boards and they find people to haul.
Yeah.
And that's bad. That's bad business to me.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. It's different if you say, hey, I'm a broker and I'll find you a truck.
Right.
It's different than saying, oh, I have a truck that's going to be there. You know what I mean? and
Right.
yeah, it's bad. But I didn't have to put my black clothes on. It worked out.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, sometimes, well, that's it. When you got to go to the next level, you need to have people at the next level as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So let's get the fellas in.
what ultimately got you out of that game?
The economy.
Louis, what ultimately got you out of that game and got you away from doing that, from the car hauling stuff?
Well, in '08, the economy went south for trucking,
Right.
for the automotive industry. It went real bad. Certain president came in and he threw a wrench in the automotive industry with the cash for clunkers and with the bailouts. Those bailouts. See, people don't understand that when a government tells a company that we're going to bail you out, but you have to do A, B, C, and D for us to do it. So what happened is, think about this: Pontiac went out of business. Oldsmobile went out of business.
Yeah.
Saturn, Hummer, Saab, all of the GM products, they all went out of business.
Right.
Right. So you have the car dealerships went out of business. You have the manufacturers went out of business. You have the transport companies went out of business.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you have the mom and pop stores at these cities went out of business. All that business went away.
Right. Right.
So think about how many people are out of work over that bailout.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So then the cash for clunkers, the new dealership started keeping all the trade-ins. So usually a dealership will take a trade-in, then he'll take it to the auction. Then you got the used car dealerships will go buy them and take them to their lots.
Right.
Well, the new car dealership said, "Hey, we're going to hold on to these cars because we can't get rid of them, or we're going to sell them off our lots." So that started the ball rolling for me because I was hauling cars for dealerships. I'd take them from the new dealership to the auction, and I'd stay at the auction, then take the cars from the auction to the used dealer that bought them.
Okay.
So it was pretty good. I was going both ways.
That's a good gig. Yeah.
Right. So all that ended, and now I'm sitting in the auction like, "Hey, you need me to haul your cars?" "No, we're just going to drive them."
Yeah. Wow.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
So that started the ball off, and it went downhill fast.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's
all right.
That's how it happened. And then the high end stuff, rich people knew it was going bad in 07. And they started holding their money. So that side of the business started slowing down too.
Right.
So I had to move some cars for the Yankees. I had to move some cars for some high end guys out west. And so I called one of my buddies out west. I was like, "Hey, you got anything? I'm kind of slow." He's like, "Hey, something's funny going on. The rich people are acting funny and they're holding their money." So he said, "Hey, try to watch what you're spending your money on because they know something."
Right.
And I had just paid off one of my trucks and I was going to buy a new one. And because I was rolling pretty good.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Man, something's going on." And he was right. Rich people knew in 07. When 08 hit, it all came together, and then I went and got a job. 09.
Yeah. There you go. It's always the same. Follow the money,
Yeah.
That's always the follow. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so be wise when you're hiring somebody for service, and I'm saying that for any service,
right?
Home repairs or any of that stuff, because there's people out there that's really not good people.
Yeah, you hear about that all the time. There's always stories on the news about that. I just saw one today about a guy who was, he looked like an average guy, but he was like 36 years old, and he ripped off some elderly people for like, I think at first it was like 30 grand, and he hit him for another 13 grand, and he didn't do any of the work. It was all just a scam.
See, I believe that the mafia should come in and take care of those type of people.
Yeah, there you go. That works. Yeah.
Break some kneecaps or some fingers. How do you? I mean, elderly people work all their lives. You're gonna come in and steal it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Come on, man. Go to work. You steal some old people's money.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell you what I really think you should do to them, but
I know it's we all think the same. I know we're all in the same boat there.
All I gotta say is people are lucky I'm not a judge or the guy that handles the switch.
Yeah, the executioner.
Man,
Be smiling.
Mess with old people and kids, man. This is bad.
Yeah. Very true.
Yep.
Very true.
All right, let's
see what the boys have to say. Yeah.
Yeah, see what they're talking about. Joey's sleeping, I think.
I think he looks out.
Joey, wake up.
Oh, man, forget it. Man. Yeah, we put him out. Okay.
We'll get him in later.
That's great. Oh, my word. That's
anybody else sleep?
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
I'm awake.
You know, one of the things you said, Lewis, but the biggest problem with all this stuff, nobody wants to take any liability.
Bingo.
And that's the problem with a lot of these insurance companies also.
Yep.
You spend all this money, you think you're protected, and then when something happens, you're not protected. I run into this problem with moving toolboxes. Somebody will ask me, hey, you move a toolbox? I said, yeah, I'll move a toolbox. This is what it's going to cost you. And then I get the phone call, I found somebody else. Well, what do you mean? A buddy of mine runs a tow truck. He'll come by and pick it up and take it. Well, unfortunately, when the box falls off the truck and they say, oh, don't worry, the insurance will cover it. The insurance company comes back and says, you're not licensed to move boxes. You're here to move cars.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the shop owner finds out, not the shop owner, but the owner of the tow truck company, and says, hey, what were you doing? You tried to move this during your lunch break, or you were pocketing the $200 or whatever it was.
Yep.
And that's one heck of a mess.
Yeah.
But my biggest problem with all of it, though, these insurance companies don't even want to take the liability. Nobody wants any liability. I shouldn't say them. Nobody wants any liability. That's why, like that guy, if he would have been up front with you and says, I'm a broker and I can find you a driver, that's one thing. But for him to say that, yeah, we could do the job and you lead you down that path.
Yeah. He even gave me a date to pick up and everything.
Yeah, but that's the problem with our society now.
Yeah.
It all happened after we paid that $2.5 million to that lady that spilled the hot coffee from out of the McDonald's.
From McDonald's, yeah.
And after that, nobody wanted liability for
You're right.
responsibility for their actions.
Hello, everyone.
Ciao.
I needed a cat nap.
Yeah, we see. You're doing it good, too.
I want to give a shout out to my two daughters, Andrea and Taylor, and their mother, Lisa, who are watching from Kentucky.
Hello, girls.
Yeah, unless they fell asleep like I do.
Nah.
No.
You said Andrea and
Taylor.
Hello, Andrea and Taylor.
I'm going to step out and take care of my chickens. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. That's
All right. Don't cook them.
I need somebody to teach me how to dress and pluck and fry a chicken.
Oh, I'm gonna send you a video. I got a lady, man.
I don't want no videos. I just want somebody to do it.
I think No Class was really saying, I got to go talk to a man about a horse.
There's an
You got to
Amish.
take a leap. That's what he's got to do.
I got to put the chicken.
There's an Amish lady over at Andover. You take the chicken to her, $4. She'll clean it up for you and have it ready to go in the oven.
There used to be a lady in
$4.
Sharpsburg. There was a family in Sharpsburg I used to take the chickens to. Drop them off in the morning, pick them up in the afternoon.
All right. But about the show, the do's and the don'ts. The do's, if you can do it yourself if you want the job done right. The don'ts, don't take a woman with you that has to stop at every strip mall, flea market, fancy restaurant on the way there and back.
Oh, wait, you forgot about peeing.
Huh?
You forgot about pit stops. They got to pee every
Oh, yeah.
30 minutes.
Animal bottle into the air.
So the thing with doing it yourself, even and I did it for a long time, and I had worse problems with a single car trailer than my big trailers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, those little trailers, man, it's hard. They're hard to tow. It's hard to tie down. It's a mess. Unless you have an expensive one car trailer. You know what I mean?
I got lucky on the last two projects, like the square body I'm working on now.
Mhm.
My cousin was already there and had enough room to bring the truck. And then the 29 Chevy, he was already there. Um, we went in halves on that one. So those two worked out.
Well, the reason I was saying that is because you said do it yourself. If you're not a car person and
Oh yeah,
you know, I mean, really, it's not for.
yeah, it can get hairy because
Yeah.
you don't strap that booger down right, you're gonna have a mess.
Oh yeah, you can't believe how much force a vehicle on a trailer. You know, anything you're hauling, really, how it
Yeah.
moves. I mean, 35 miles an hour, and you tap the brakes, man, you can move half your truck.
Yeah, back it was right before New Year's. I'd went out to far end of Michigan to pick up a truck bed for a Denali pickup truck, and every rest stop I stopped, checked my straps, and I'm glad I did that because probably about the fourth rest stop, I noticed a strap that was starting to split. And so I went, it was in the dark, it was raining, but I changed it. I had a whole box full of straps. So I changed that one out. I made it back okay with it, but golly, I don't like hauling truck beds.
Yeah, you can never have too many straps.
Well,
No.
3,200-pound car bouncing around back there is a lot of weight.
Yeah.
If you're not, like I said, you get that thing rolling, and a lot of people don't understand their distance. I mean, there's a lot to it. It's just, I know in today's world, we all run into it. YouTube makes everything look easy, and we can all be experts. But
Yeah, really be
I
careful.
guess the bottom line, and this is one of our end results, is don't be cheap, because cheap doesn't win.
Yeah.
To save a nickel will cost you a dime. So
Oh yeah.
trust me, that's the luck of the Irish from me. So
Yeah.
trust me,
Yeah,
I
and-
tried to save a nickel, and I spent a lot of dimes.
And Louis, you mentioned the mafia. You know why the mafia doesn't like Jehovah's Witness?
No,
They don't like any witnesses.
They don't like any witnesses.
there you go. So I'm gonna tell you, when I had my repo company, I was hauling a Astro van, and I didn't put straps on it. I had the self loader, it wraps around the back of the tires. You squeeze down, holds it. I've hauled, man, I can't tell you how many cars I've hauled like that. Never had a problem. So one day I was coming onto a main highway, and so I punched it to get out, get out real fast. The cars were coming, and I hit a bump, and it bounced the van out of the lift, and it rolled next to me on the side of me, right?
Wow.
And so now it's going down into the ditch, heading to the other side of the freeway. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill somebody. So luckily it got caught in the middle and it stopped. So from then on, I always strap down my tires, because I can't tell you how many cars I hauled without straps. And so when I started hiring drivers, we had a meeting one day, and I was like, hey, here's our rules, regulations, and I wrote them down on pamphlet, gave it to everybody. Everybody had to sign it, right? In the rules is like, hey, if you get caught without a strap on your car that you're towing, it's going to be $50 a strap, right?
Wow.
And I explained to him, I was like, hey, I had this van pop out, almost killed people. So, please strap down the cars, safety, right? Man, it wasn't even a month later. Not even that. Probably a couple weeks later, I caught 2 drivers the same day with no straps on their
Oh, jeez.
on their vehicle. Right.
Wow.
So I called the office. I told my secretary, I was like, hey, in the next pay, take $50 off each of them because I caught them with no straps. Right. So man, they had a fit. They called me like, man, I really need my money. Why are you taking the money out? I was like, hey, did you sign that piece of paper saying that you would strap down the vehicle? Yeah. All right then.
Yep.
Me and
No
my wife
excuses.
going out to dinner with your $50.
Yeah, I remember when I got down to pick up that truck bed, I had pictures of it, that they advertised on their website. I could tell right away they had changed the tail lights. The ones that were in it were cracked, chipped, scratched all to pieces. I showed them the pictures on the website. I said, this is the tail lights I'm leaving here with, or I'm not taking this bed off. And they're like, well, that's the ones that was. I'm like, no, it's not. Look at the freaking picture. And the guy at the counter says, all right, hold on. He goes back, tells the guys out in the shop area, switch those tail lights out. And then he came back. I said, no, go tell them don't even put them in. Just take the other ones out and give me the right ones. And they had these things wrapped up with so much saran wrap that I said, well, before you walk away, I'm going to open this up right here on the tailgate. I want to inspect these tail lights before I approve it. And so they stood there, one-armed guys, trying to take all this freaking wrapping off. They wouldn't offer to lift a hand for nothing. And finally got it all off and said, all right, yep, those will work. Thank you. Shook their hand and shut the tailgate and headed home.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to pull a fast one there, but I caught it right away. So that's all it did.
It's crazy, man. People are just scandalous. This don't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, yeah, I got that squared away, and it took forever to get home with that bed because I was scared to death something was going to snap and that bed was going to be destroyed, and then I'm responsible for it.
See, here's what I start doing. When I say, oh, I think that's good, then I'll add on 2 more straps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As soon as you think it's good, add on a couple more.
Yeah, I had 4, and I had them crisscrossed, and then probably about the second rest stop, I thought, I'm going to add 2 more going straight across. Because this thing was actually sitting on a really nice, very well-built platform that it was bolted to. So we got that with the bed. They just picked it up with the forklift, set it on the trailer, put that on there. So I had the straps on the bed, not on that stand. So I added 2 more to the stand, and plus had the 4 on the bed. But that one on the bed, though, as soon as I looked at that strap, I said, oh, man, that probably won't make it to the next rest stop. So I went ahead and changed it there and grabbed me a sandwich at Burger King and headed on down the road.
Yes. No joke, man, how much stuff will move. So, Brian, what kind of tie downs do you have in your truck?
I got 3-inch. They're ratcheting with E-Track.
Mhm.
I don't know the name brand.
Whoever invented those E-Tracks, man, they were on the money.
Man, I tell you, I've added E-Tracks all over the place, and those E-Tracks, man, are lifesavers.
Yep.
But I tell you, I had a box. I was delivering, and I'm driving down the road, and it's amazing. Of course, driving a truck, you'd be really surprised on how you notice things or the way it feels.
Yep.
And I'm driving down the road, and I said, man, it feels like I got a tire flat or something, So I get out and walk around with with my breaker bar and smack the tires, for the bounce and the thunk, the noise, to see if I have a flat tire. And so this thing feels funny as hell driving down the road. And so I get in the truck, drive down the road a little bit more, and I said, man, something's really not right in the back of this truck. So I get on, pull over to the side of the road again, get out, and I'm walking around, and I walk by, and of course my door has a little window, to look in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk by and I look, and it's black. It's, blacked out. I can't see into the truck. Well, a strap broke, and a toolbox had been rolling around in the back of the tool truck.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And that's the weight from that toolbox, the 2,800 pounds that's what I was feeling when I was driving down the road. That thing was rolling around, bouncing off everything back there. So I had, of course, what happened was it fell down into the steer well. One wheel was caught down in the steer well, and it was blocking the door. I couldn't get into the truck.
Oh, wow.
So I had to get the lift gate motor, go into the lift gate, go through the back door. And I thank God for the E-straps, because I eventually hooked that to the wall and hooked it to the toolbox, and I was able to use that as leverage to pull that, and got the thing up back in the truck, mounted it back in, and saw where the strap broke. And those were about 10 years old, so I realized it's like a seatbelt.
Yeah.
That stuff takes a lot of force, and there's a lot of pulling, tugging, and that's when I replaced all my belts after that. And but luckily it didn't beat the box up too bad. It tore the shit out of the truck, though, man. And
wow.
it just, like I said, bouncing around. And so I went and dropped it off, and it had one scratch. It had a noticeable scratch. Gave the guy a little bit off, threw in a couple things. It all went well, but I was really amazed that thing moving around. And like I said, if anybody else, not to say that again. Once you learn the truck, you feel everything. When you have something wrong. The way the truck drives. And but I could think of a few people that would have just kept on driving, and they could have really gotten bad. So
Yeah, real quick.
Papa Squirrel snuck in on us.
Like going around a big curve, man. When you have weight on one side, it'll push you down the street over.
I had a guy one time. He looked at a toolbox and he forgot, and I didn't lock the drawers. And I had loosened the straps. I did not take the straps off, but I loosened the straps so that he can look in the box. And we were talking and going back and forth. And he'll say, "Oh, I'll let you know." And like I said, one thing led to another. I got off the truck, handed out the receipts, phone ring, jumped in the truck, drove down the road, and I heard a crash. And that box fell over in the truck.
Ooh.
And that was one hell of a mess trying to pick up and get back up on all four wheels. I don't know. That's when those inner hawk moments come in, because I'm by myself and I don't know how I got it back up, but I did it. So that's.
I had a friend, his name is, we call him Bubba, and he's got this most beautiful toolbox. It's real tall, it's blue, it's loaded with neon lights. I don't know the name of this thing, but man, that thing is sharp. He's on his videos, that thing's glowing in the background. That's all you can look at.
Yeah, I had one other time. This is when I left the dealership and I was in between jobs. And it wasn't a big box. It was a Craftsman box. It was 46 inches. And I'd borrowed, at the time was my girlfriend, which is my wife now, Jenny's truck. She had a little Ford Ranger. Strapped it in there. She was driving my car. And it was funny. Had it in the back of her truck, and one day sat out there in the driveway in the sun, cleaning the box all up. Had a job interview to go to. I said, "Oh, I need to put the truck back in the garage." And we had like a little 1.5 inch bump to go into the garage. I didn't strap the box down. Took the truck, barely moving, drove it up over top of the bump to get in. The box slides out the back of the truck, hits the ground.
Wow.
Everything that I straightened, cleaned, and put away nice was all over the driveway. I was furious, man. I guess it was that inner Hawk moment. Went over there, picked that toolbox up, threw it in the back of the bed of the truck, got the snow shovel, scooped up all the sockets, wrenches, and everything else, threw it in the back of the truck. Went to my job interview, got the job, came back, and just then my dad pulls in, and there were still tools all over the place. He's picking shit up, walking up the driveway. He goes, "Have a little accident?" I said, "I don't want to talk about it."
Yeah. Yeah, Lewis, you mentioned earlier about the legalities of hauling, and the what is that called?
Liability.
Yeah, liabilities and getting set up with the state to haul, and and that's just using a regular pickup truck like a 3500 series or something. And I pursued that. I wanted to see what all you had to go through. And there's so much daggone red tape.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it costs more than what you'd probably make in 2 years, to get started. And I thought, there's no way I'm doing this. Because I wanted to get into hauling, automobiles or campers or, boats, whatever. And nope.
See, when I got into it, I didn't know any better. So I was like, oh, I'm going to haul cars. So I bought the truck and trailer, and then I was like, oh, I got to get insurance. So I got insurance. And I was like, oh, I got to go to get DOT. And I got to get all that stuff. And it's like, oh, my God, this is terrible. But I kept doing it because I had already invested, and I had to keep on rolling. So before I knew it, I had, had everything. Check this out. On a commercial truck like that, your license plates are $1,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Without even blinking a year.
Yeah.
Then you have to pay for every state that you drive through. IFTA tax.
Yeah. Hey, Keith is backstage.
Yeah, I mean, before you know it, you're paying
Guys,
a lot of stuff out of your hey.
So Lewis, back, and I think this fits your timeline when you were doing some of the exotic stuff. In 2002, when I got the job in that Ferrari shop, Italian import shop, my job was to work on cars. It was not to transport cars. The gentleman that was there, who was running the flatbed truck and the trailer behind it, I don't remember what happened, but somebody said to me, "Do you know how to operate the flatbed?" And I said, "Well, I know how to operate it, but I've never really towed anything before. But yeah, I can operate it." So next thing I know, over the next several years, I was the one transporting a lot of those Ferraris locally with the flatbed, and then sometimes had an enclosed trailer behind me, sometimes had an open trailer behind me with another car on it. And that truck was DOT registered, private, not for hire, because it was doing all the private work for that shop. It wasn't a tow service. We weren't a car transport service.
Right.
So the rules were a little different, but oh my God, the hoops that you had to jump through, and I had that DOT card, and we had to keep a DOT log, and
that's what it was, DOT.
Everything that goes along with that, plus the insurances, and then again, customers' cars, if they had a tag on them and they had insurance, especially if there was a Virginia, Maryland local vehicle, there wasn't really big deal with the insurance coverage. But if it was a car that you were grabbing out of storage that hadn't seen the light of day in 40 years and wasn't tagged and insured, but is worth $500,000. Yeah, it's on that company's insurance and how all those situations go.
Yeah.
So,
I remember one of the rules about hauling campers that if it didn't have an actual paper title to go with your paperwork that you would have to have from hauling it, you couldn't haul it out of the state, across state line.
Hmm.
That was one of the things that was in that booklet that they sent to me. I thought, geez, because there's a lot of campers and boats, they just don't have titles. You know, they have bill of sales and registrations, but no title. It's just crazy.
Yeah, they got a lot of regulations.
And what
Another
was it?
thing, when you have your DOT, you have to have a file cabinet that holds all the information on your rig, on your truck,
Yeah.
safety, your maintenance. What else? Safety, maintenance, logs, all that stuff. They had to be filed for each truck.
yes, and then I had to keep my logbook and there was some other situation. I remember, and I guarantee you, I spent somewhere between a total on and off probably close to 16 hours because the DOT not for hire stickers on the truck meant that that truck is subject for a pullover and inspection at any given time, and there were certain things that had to be on the truck, like the automatic disposable camera in an accident report kit.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, we have, I mean, back then you didn't have the cell phones in everybody's hands technology.
Yeah.
So they had these disposable cameras that had to be in your accident report.
You know what? I got my kit. I just seen it the other day somewhere in my shop.
It was like, wow, I need to put a trailer behind the truck just to haul all this shit.
Yeah. I think one of the other rules too is if you were using something bigger than a 3500 series for hauling, you had to have an onboard camera in the cab of that truck, and they were able to access that camera from anywhere they wanted to see what you were doing. And if you got caught with your phone in your hand, talking on the phone, or even eating, you got flagged right there.
I have no clue how they knew I smoked in that truck other than the smell, but I always tried to cover the smell and I always had the windows down. But on long runs, yes, I smoked in the truck and they fucking know it every time. That's probably what it was a camera. I didn't even know it.
Yeah. Not to change subject, but I do want to ask you something, Paul. I know you use weld-through primer.
Yeah.
I bought this. It's by Dominion. It's copper weld-through primer.
All right. I don't have glasses on, so I can't really see whatever it is you're holding up if you are holding something up.
Yeah, it's the can of.
It's a copper weld through.
Yeah, copper
weld-through primer.
Weld-through primer. Yep. It's by Dominion SureSeal. I'm gonna try it. See, I've never used any kind of that stuff, so this will be my first go at it.
Weld-through primers that I've used, I like the zinc. I've never really used the copper that I can remember. But even with the zinc, it's there to have a protective coating in between the two panels where you can never get any kind of coating. You still want to scratch up because even though it's weld through, it still reduces that initial arc.
Yeah.
And if it's copper, it's not gonna want to melt and blend in like the zinc does to the steel.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
I would use zinc.
Just my opinion only. I have nothing to back that up. We can all Google it real quick and see.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Is in red flag that comes up is copper and steel don't necessarily bond.
Right. I know Dave that was on last week from Russ Bucket Restos. He uses, like on that 68 Charger, on all the panels. I mean, that thing had a lot of panels going into it. And I'm pretty sure he was using the copper welder on
Again,
every.
I'm not
Yeah,
experienced
so
to
I don't
say.
know.
I just have my preferences, and that's the zinc.
Yeah.
It's always shown.
Yeah. Yeah. And then back to the topic, my friend Jimmy in the chat says his dad is a truck driver and that a trooper had said he was 2,000 pounds over. So he burped in his face and said, now wait. You okay, Ray?
You don't want to make them mad. They can hold you up for 3, 4, 5 hours.
Yep.
Right.
Easy.
How you doing, Ray?
Just fine.
Yeah, I was afraid once that I was going to get weighed because I was pushing the limit, and I was hoping the guy had a sense of humor, and I told him I had an extra cheeseburger for lunch. So, but I don't know if that would have worked.
Yeah.
So, Brian, I meant to send some photos while I was kind of in your neighborhood.
Yeah, you were only about 2 miles, 3 miles from me, bud. You were 4 miles at the most. I mean, you were all over the area from.
Yes, I was. But I got to say something to you because I hope that you can relay the message over the next 6 months or another. Make sure that it gets to the person it needs to get to. The Napa store in Cloverly.
That's right around the corner from my house. Yep, know it well.
There is one person in there I want to give a shout out to, a thank you to actually having some common sense.
Who was it?
It was the chick from New York.
Yep.
She's got the Napa know-how.
She does.
Right here, across the board to whoever's listening, whoever listens in the future, that store is the most fucked up Napa I've ever seen in the United States, with the exception of that one chick. She is badass. And if I had gotten you some posters and stickers, I'd make sure she got posters and stickers. So
she's
let's
really
give
good.
some swag to that chick because she's got common sense, listens to me, understands how things are.
Yep. She's really good. I mean, I hate walking in that place. I mean, I look through the window to see who's running in the front, who's up there. Because other than that, I just keep going.
Now we have a lady at the AutoZone that she knows more than any of those guys. And if she can't find it in their system they use, she will search on her phone until she finds it. Gets the part number from wherever she finds it to find it in their system. I mean, she's just thorough. She does really good.
All right, hold on. I got a cat fight going on.
With the chickens?
They're fighting over the chickens or what?
Yeah, that's a good line. They got to go take a leak. That's got to see a man about a horse.
Yeah.
Come up with a few good ones there.
Or
Feeding the chickens and a cat fight. Hopefully it's not a brunette and a redhead.
Right.
Welcome.
Or just say, hey, I got to go pay the water bill.
Welcome back to country living.
Are you still out in Texas, Paul?
I'm back in Texas. I flew back Tuesday morning. I was up in the Maryland, D.C. area for roughly 2 weeks. I apologize. I really wanted to get on last Thursday night with you guys, but I don't remember how nutty it was, but it was nutty up there to a little degree.
Yeah.
A lot going on. I can say this. One that you saw, because I did post pictures of it, and with Ted Levitt's permission, the Rolls Royce with the small block Chevrolet. Ted, you're doing an amazing job. I'm really continuing to look forward to the progress on that car. It's incredible to see A true coach-built mid-20s Rolls Royce,
Oh, it's mid-20s.
and with a small block Chevrolet going into it. The car, all the aluminum on it was completely rotted. And he has done an amazing job in recreating all the wood properly, and now has been tackling doing all the aluminum work, and it looks amazing.
What year is it?
It's a mid-20s, late 20s. I'm not 100% sure what year it is or what model it is.
Mhm.
It's a large 4-door touring car.
Take that to a show, and the purists are gonna freak out.
Well, yeah, the purists with all, because he's got a couple other Rolls Royces too. It's his car, and he's truly saving a car that didn't exist. Anyways, it was rotted and gone.
Right.
So he's
People gotta understand
it,
that.
but he's recreating it as something that's going to be usable. He's not.
Yeah,
he's not
imagine that it's
building
actually a
something
100-year-old car.
and it's still a Rolls Royce chassis with the Rolls Royce braking system, which is way ahead of its time, anyways, and ample enough to still stop the car. It's gonna look proper and just be reliable and drive down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ring Brothers did a real nice one. Had a SEMA last year. I want to say it was, I don't know what year it was. One of the real big ones.
Yes, and no question, I cannot. I don't want to sound disrespectful to the Ring Brothers because I can't be, but the factor in this that I left out is Ring Brothers have been doing this their whole lives, just like all of us else that have been doing this shit our whole lives.
Mhm.
This gentleman over in Annapolis, he's only been doing it for a couple years. He spent over 50 years running restaurant businesses.
Nice.
He had no, this metal crafting and woodwork and all this is all new to him, and this is the job he's tackling, and it's like, wow, you're doing a job that people that have been doing this their whole lives can't do.
Yeah. There's some talent out there, I'll tell you.
That
Patience,
the Ring Brothers Rolls has a 640 LT4 crate engine in it.
What did Sam Hoff's
speed.
Rolls have? Who can Google Sam Hoff's Rolls Royce from the SEMA build?
Never heard of that. Sam
Hoff.
You know, and that Rolls Royce was a lady on that car. Sam Hard. Sam Hard out of England.
I don't know if I want to type that in here. Sam. What am I gonna get?
Rolls
Sarah, how
Royce.
long have you been in
Let
there?
me put rolls in there.
SEMA
How long have you
build.
been in there, Terry?
Oh, Terry.
Hey, Big T.
I wasn't paying
Some
attention. I didn't see you pop in.
Yeah, I'm in here.
See, you're not in Youngstown.
No. Soon though.
You gotta let
very
me know
soon.
when so I can come and get my hat.
Yep, I got one for Jim. Got one for Ray. I think I even got one for Mako. I don't know. If he pisses me off, I'll
So
I-
all of them have to
they're
come.
they're the new style too. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
Does
nice.
everybody have to come to Youngstown and get it, or just me?
Yep.
Hey,
And the funny thing is,
Terry,
only one of you guys sent me your address. No, I'm sorry, two.
I did. I sent you mine.
Terry, did you get mine?
Who said that, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sent you definitely going out. You sent me your address.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't
Joey.
sure. Because all this crazy stuff going on with Facebook and Messenger. I'm like, something about encrypted messages. I was like, what?
Yeah, that one-armed guy, Joey at Mill Creek Fab Shop, he sent you his address on Facebook.
We got them. If no class, yo, hit me up with your address, and you too could receive one of these beautiful 2A1 caps.
Well, you know what? No Class will hit you up with the address. And I will have to say thank you very much because I may or may not receive it here in the middle of nowhere.
No, I tell you what. You want me to hold it for you? You want me to hold it for you and hand deliver it to you at SEMA?
Whoa! Oh! Ooh!
That's how. You know what? That's maybe how Ray should get his.
That's kind of
Pick him up at SEMA. That's what
I'm not a hat guy.
Hey, Ray, your daughter got married. You don't have no more excuses. This year, you're coming to see me.
Hey, I'm thinking about going down to Pigeon Forge in 2 weeks for the Pontiacs at Pigeon Forge.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Well,
You
only
gonna
about
take the GTO down there? You gonna drive it down?
No. Not to enter the car, just to see the show.
Ah,
I'm only about 10, 12 hours from Pigeon Forge. You can just keep coming.
Keep coming.
Yeah.
What's 10, 12 hours?
probably fly there, right?
Come on down. Let's put on a big car show in the middle of the field, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm gonna jump a little early because my wife is under the weather, and I'm gonna go juice her up with a whole bunch of chemicals.
Juice,
Nice.
Yeah, juice her up. Okay.
We know, yeah.
Good luck on that.
Yeah.
You better make sure your strap's down tight.
Yeah.
2 clicks.
And you all were giving me a hard time about putting chickens away. Leave them at
Lewis, tell her we're praying for her.
Appreciate it. My grandson started preschool 2 weeks ago,
Oh,
and my daughter-in-law went to pick him up, and a little snot-nosed kid was standing there with green stuff coming out of his face. So he gave it to my grandson. So then he had green stuff coming out of his face, and then now my wife got it because she was babysitting him.
Get ready for it, man.
yeah. Guess
Get
who's
ready for
next? Yep.
No.
Dude, I'm telling you,
You're
you
next.
cannot take enough Fred Flintstones and Wilmas to take care of that.
I'm wondering why he started preschool in May.
Before I take her the chemicals, I take the chemicals before I head up there. I'm gearing up before I go in.
Zycam or whatever it's called. That not Zycam. What is it?
When everybody's sleeping at night, you go downstairs to where your central air is or your air conditioning, and you have a can of Lysol and you puncture it, shake it up, and throw it into the A-frame and just let it filter throughout the house while you're sleeping.
It's funny.
You'll be
I do
okay.
that every time I get in the studio after Rob Leonard. I Lysol down the mic and the whole console, the board, everything.
Yeah.
He's always got some kind of sickness.
Yeah.
cinnamon toast with honey. Lots of cinnamon toast with honey.
So,
Wow.
Sounds good.
Just check
It's
my
not-
You
bank.
can do that without
Natural.
being sick.
It's natural
Yeah.
antibiotics, antioxidant, whatever. That's the reason.
Vitamin C.
Yeah, go drink a whole thing of orange juice.
That helps.
just hit 2 shots of tequila. Don't worry about it.
And then
There you go.
Ah,
Ryan's on it.
there you go. 2 shots of tequila.
you're still gonna get sick, but you'll feel good.
Hey,
And
everybody.
if
have
you're
a
really sick, suck the worm. Don't worry.
good, you guys have a great week. And
That's mezcal with the
hey,
worm.
everybody go check out PowerTube TV. They got a lot of content for car heads. Go check it out. Let me know
Oh, yeah, I
next
watch
week.
them.
Yeah, let me know next week what you see on there that you like. Besides playing in traffic.
That's my favorite show. Played in traffic. That's the only thing I watch.
All right, fellas, have a good week.
I like watching it because you're on there, Louis.
Wife.
I'm waiting for Terry's new show. When is that? Is that out yet?
I don't think it is just yet. I think it's coming out next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Terry Talks. That's the first one, and then it's going to be the Ultimate Collection. I'm hosting that one as well.
Oh,
And
that
then,
sounds cool.
and then there's another one.
Yeah.
Terry sings.
Yeah, I was going to say, you
Yeah.
got
Terry
a
sings.
segment.
I'm
Terry
taking
sings.
requests.
This
I'm
is what
taking requests.
I don't have any hearing aids and I can barely hear you now.
Send the request. Send the request. And we're doing closed caption too, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do another
up on the screen.
I don't know if I can do another subscription service. I'm gonna have to get rid of something so I could join that other the 0 to 60.
No, it's good. They got some serious stuff up there. I was like, wow, I joined it just for the Speed Racer.
Speed Racer.
I joined it for that and all the other the commercials, the '70s commercials with the cars. Man, that's great.
Vince sends me that stuff every day. He's sending me commercials.
Yeah, it's
Just real happy.
but no. So we'll hopefully next week it'll air, and we're starting to film. We're starting to get new locations and where we're gonna start filming for the next one. So
Cool. Are you doing all stuff up north? Are you going like everywhere?
no, we're gonna be going all over the place. We're gonna probably just do it up north now. Because it's like the Terry Talks is mostly cars and coffee, so we'll go to a couple of those film. But like the collections, we're gonna just head out like north and all this. Like
Jay
New
Leno.
Jersey, New
You got to
York.
go to California.
Yeah, hopefully second season.
Who are you filming out with, Terry? Who's the organization?
The guy's name John Galante. What's it called? Weekend Oaken? Weekend? Like that. I forget the name. Same guy with Lou Santiago and
Right.
Stacey David and
Yep.
and what's called Joe Zopler.
Yeah.
Steve Darnell. So they're keeping me in line because I'm a loose cannon, so they smack me back in place every now and then.
So
Especially like Joe Zopler.
Hey, Terry, my friend John there at Mopar Nut in the chat, he says, what about dancing with Terry?
You get me started now.
Yeah.
I can move.
with that vacuum cleaner.
There is a vacuum cleaner in there.
In the middle of the
Yeah.
cage for you.
Oh, that was me imitating Fred Astaire.
Oh,
That was audition.
That was audition reel. They're like, nah, let's have him stick to maybe possibly singing. Nah, let's have him stick to just talk about cars and drinking coffee. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Long lost audition tapes.
The lost audition tape.
Give us
I
a
might have
heads
to read.
up on one of these cars and coffees that you'll be doing, and I'll make an appearance.
I'll let you know.
You gotta come up here and do
Yeah,
Mike and what is that? Mike and Dale's up there, the deli.
Oh.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's 500 plus cars, man. They do that 4 times a year.
Come
on, even
Mike and Mel's Deli.
Yeah, Mike and Mel's Deli. That's a hell of a show, dude. They got all kinds of stuff there.
Even in the show, we said, hey, listen, if you want us to visit, drop a car show or something like that, cars and coffee, let us know.
It's even Burtonsville can surprise you. It's just not very. It gets a little. One week it could be killer, and the next week it's not. But that place,
no,
you never.
Mike Mills, I don't know how he did it, but he made a name for himself. He had some of the people that I saw there one of the first times that it got super big and it got past like 30, 40 cars. There was a lot that came down from Baltimore, from Reisterstown at the Collector Car Corral. Shout out to Randy Moss at the Collector Car Corral. But a lot of his clients I saw at one of those. And I don't know if it had something to do with the Porsche Club or one of the other situations, but I know it was like one day there was 12, 14 DeLoreans, 15 or 18 Lamborghinis, another 15 or 18 Ferraris, Bentleys. And then you see a Datsun 240Z parked right next to the Bentley.
Like I said, we got the dude with the Batmobile, the Bat Cycle, and everything else. We got
Bill.
Yep.
Bill. I'll give a shout out to Bill. Bill, Batman Bill. You're the one that picked me up from the airport at BWI and gave me a ride to my brother's, and I was never able to get back with you. Thank you very much for grabbing me at the airport.
But like I said, Burtonsville, one day, I mean, one weekend, the stuff there is unbelievable, and it's from everything.
Katie's Coffee will also bring out quite a bit.
Yeah, too bad Kensington was a flop with the rain. That's usually a killer show too.
There were still
Mario.
cars there.
Oh no, there was about 40 cars, 50 cars. I drove through.
You drove through? I was over there for a while.
Yep, drove through in the rain. A buddy of mine had the 18. One of my customers had the 18 van.
Okay.
I don't know if you
I like
saw
the
it or not,
18,
but that's a really clean van. 18. Yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, like I said, I don't stick around too long. I travel through quite a few shows and on the weekend, and had to get back before everybody wakes up. Can't let the females know that I'm gone from the house.
Plus, you got to hit Home Depot.
Huh?
Home Depot, you got to hit Harbor Freight.
I gotta still stop by and check up my check for my runners.
Right.
That whip.
I was unsupervised, and I still did nothing but go to work.
Yeah.
All right,
Gentlemen, I gotta get off because I gotta take these dogs out for a walk. They're not
all right.
happy.
Yeah, another guy go take a
Dogs
leak.
for a walk.
Yeah, take a walk, play
chickens.
with the chickens.
Yeah.
Man, you guys come up with
You know,
just be a
feed the
man.
raccoon. Yeah,
Terry, it's always good to see you, man.
it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Sorry, it's so short but sweet, but it's always a pleasure.
That's cool. Take care. Terry.
Well, a man of your talent, charms, and good looks, I understand you don't want to mess around with these lower class guys. I understand.
On that note, I'm going to tell you to shut the hell up.
Hey,
Well, hey,
hey, listen, man, that monster garage thing's got him spoiled.